Okay, part 2. Yeah, Bashar says that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had children. This is kind of a aside, but along the same subject. Mary Magdalene was the... Christians aren't going to like this, but apparently, and Bashar has said this, Anna Hayes has said this, and Seth has said this, that Jesus never existed. The Jesus of the Bible is actually lots of different preachers. So when you say Jesus said this and Jesus said that, well, it could have been Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was one of the Jesuses. She was the #1 disciple and helped preach. That's what Bashar said. John the Baptist was one, and Ashiana Dean says that there was a D12 Jesus, Dimension 12, a D9, Dimension 9, and then there was a third, just a normal Jesus guy, who's the guy who was crucified. But anyways, yeah, okay. So 12,800 years ago was the final Atlantis destruction. It was the end of the Ice Age from destructive power. So 12,800 years ago, 10,800 BC, you could say 11,000 years ago. 2,500 years ago, Plato said it was 9,000 years before him. So 11,500 years ago, pretty close. Yeah, it was the end of the Ice Age. I don't know if it coincidentally came from the end of the Ice Age or it caused the end of the Ice Age, but it was from too much destructive power. They were trying to gain power to... Well, according to Plato, they were in a war with Athens, and I think the other aliens that they were just trying to take over from, like Lemuria, and they were just there were two, according to Melchizedek, John Velo Melchizedek, is that there were 2 different soul groups in Athens. I mean, in Atlantis, there was the Martians, the people who reincarnated here from Mars after they, and then before Mars, they were in Marduk. And then there are the more like peaceful, perhaps even older soul, I don't know, but the more peaceful hippie types who live there. And it was, and like them, the Martians, the Hawks, kind of took over and built this huge crystal to try to do something, and it caused a pole shift or something. It invited a comet to come and make Atlantis sink. And you can find the fragments of that comet in all those little lakes in North and South Carolina. Okay. Be silent. Oh, it's good to be silent and to just not think, to meditate, to allow the visions to come, I suppose. The earth is wobbling. Okay. I don't know why. Maybe it was from a flyby from a comet or some kind of problem. Okay, there's 4 elements. It's earth, air, fire, and water. Okay, well, that's like the shamanistic thing, but I guess shamanism is not a religion that we should completely disregard. There's some good stuff to know about that. Fire is the spirit of transformation. That makes sense. Fire turns wood into ash and gas and fire and groovy. Let's go to some more and see if there's some more notes. Oh, there are more notes. The new electromagnetic light waves coming to Earth have to be expressed, if not by us positively, then in the environment negatively, like earthquakes. Okay, so there's lots of new energy coming to us because we're crossing the galactic plane. And that energy is opening our minds, our third eye. It's opening our creativity. And we can see that with all the inventions going on here and all the energy that everybody's out, the cool things we're doing. And we're loving it. But if we don't express that, if we don't act it out, if we have fear of expressing that and acting out and doing what the visions in our head tell us to do, then that energy has to go somewhere else. Goes into the earth and causes earthquakes and kills people and allows those people who are afraid to express that to die and get reborn on another planet, or to recharge in the spirit world to have another go at it. Inability to come to concise conclusions makes tornadoes. So it's, I guess, how they say various psychological problems cause very specific psychological problems cause specific physical problems. Like if you feel alone and unsupported by anybody, then you have bad knees. If you're a depressed person, then you're going to have painful thigh muscles. If you feel like you don't deserve what you have, you're going to have lung problems. If you're an angry person, you're going to get cancer. Yeah, stuff like that. But I guess it's also with the energy coming into the earth. If you don't express, as a humanity, if we don't express certain, things that we're supposed to express, then according to the specific things we're not expressing, specific things are going to happen to the earth. And so if you cannot come to a concise conclusion about stuff, if we're confused and we're not a nation that is working towards one thing and we're just kind of a bunch of people arguing and not knowing what we want, we're going to get a tornado. Okay. Here's another one. Change brings confusion. Brings to awareness the paradoxes. Contradictions in the third dimension and the fifth dimension. And teachings relevant before, but not now. Example, mindlessness versus mindfulness. Conception and feeling will pendulum about as it comes in line. For example, turning hate for someone into a reason to put a shield up, and love turning into wish for well-being. Okay, so change brings confusion, brings awareness of the paradoxes, contradictions in the third dimension and the fifth dimension. Well, I guess something that means something in the third dimension would mean something else in the fifth dimension. As soon as change and more information and everything comes, it's going to bring confusion because it's going to blast open, it's going to bring to awareness certain misconceptions we've had that we've grown up with and our whole society has grown up with and we might not want to let go of. For example, all of the believing that there's hellfire for eternity if you're not Christian. Those Christians are going to have to give that up, and that might not be easy for them because they think that the Bible, everything in the Bible, is perfectly right, just how it is. To a Christian, I would say, well, they say that having long hair, if you have long hair, then you're like some kind of abomination. What about that? Oh, there's some things in the Bible that aren't true. Well, yeah, there's some other things also that aren't true in the Bible. Okay, so. Teaching's relevant before, but not now. Okay, yeah, so it brings up paradoxes. The universe is one big paradox. That's what makes us have to think. It causes us to think and to, So like mindfulness versus mindlessness. Well, yeah, you want to be mindless. You want to turn off your brain and meditate so that visions can come and so that you can live at peace, but there's also a time to use your brain and to think. It's not one or the other. So it's kind of comparing the two and thinking this. And then, you go too far into thinking and then you go, okay, I'm going to be quiet and not think. And then you do that for too far. And then so you have to find a balance. And so that's what the change does, the kind of confusion that can bring. Turning hate for someone into a reason to put up a shield. So instead of hating somebody that you've always done, and in times past, we've always just hated. Well, now if you hate somebody, instead of hate them and yell at them and have ill will towards them and just get the adrenaline up or whatever, just ignore them. Put up a shield. If they're here, just, go away. Just leave them. And love turning into wish for well-being. So instead of being infatuated with somebody, just, wish the best for them, but don't try to manipulate them and keep them around you. Okay, mental sickness for many. So yeah, change and all of the stuff that's happening now is going to cause a lot of people to go crazy. In a way, it'll make some people, they'll get visions and they'll get smarter and they'll think they're the only person in the whole world who's getting all those visions and getting smarter. So they'll think that there's some kind of prophet, and their ego is gonna get pumped up, and they're gonna move to Jerusalem and start preaching in the street, and get upset when there's other people who are more popular than they are, more popular preacher than they are. Or even worse, things can happen than that. Like, so yeah, especially if there's drugs involved, a lot of acid or something. Okay, but also, you know, having to get rid of people's misconceptions about, like, the fundamentalist Christians having to realize that, you know, sorry, you guys, but you're not the only ones who get to go to heaven. Okay, mass suicide, some by earthquake. So, yeah, a lot of people, you know, subconsciously are just going to decide that they can't handle it. They can't handle all the change. They're not ready for a utopia. They want to live in a world where they believe that when they die, their soul is vanished forever, or when they die, they're, you know, they have to hand over their individuality to some figure to take care of them and take them to heaven. And if you don't do that, everybody else has to burn in hell for all of eternity. You know, some people can't handle the new change and then all of the new information, so they just, you know, they live in countries that all agree on that and want to keep their eyes shut, so they get an earthquake and they all die. And they created it, and they're ready to check out so that they can be reborn on another planet. Okay, so this says mine, so maybe this is something that I said that I got the idea of writing. But vortexes work by the black holes of various sizes hold the same material from older star systems that have evolved and so are related in such a way that 3D space doesn't hamper the beings that travel through them. Okay, so yeah, vortexes are black holes. Well, yeah, of various sizes, yep. They hold the same material from older star systems. Yeah, because when stars collapse, they bring their material with them, and, you know, and they also suck in planets, and they suck in the material from the planets they suck in, and those planets were created by other stars. So, yeah, material from universe gets recycled over and over again, just like the oxygen we breathe gets recycled all over the world. Okay, have evolved, and so are related in such a way that 3D space doesn't hamper the beings that travel through them. Yeah, so they travel through there, they live in that higher dimension, and the planets here, they just pass through the planets and stuff. Okay. This universe was created by a mother one, and the primordial black holes are in the center of every galaxy. Okay. So this universe was created by another universe. Yeah, I think that's pretty much common knowledge. The scientists these days say that the Big Bang happened when two membranes collided. Two membranes of another spherical or kind of bubble universe collided and created this universe. So, yeah, okay. Honor your feelings and solitude. Honor your feelings. I think New Agers are afraid to be angry. They think if you're angry, you're not a developed spirit, you know, and you're not positive and you're not helping the transformation. And anger, you know, Bashar says good things about anger. Bashar says anger is something that makes you, you know, puts you back in line with who you are. And then you put your foot down and you go, no, but this is what I am. You know, I'm not going to let you manipulate me and tell me that I do what you do. And so, you know, anger, I think, is something that keeps you an individual. And so honor your feelings, honor those. And, you know, if you have to say something, say it and then get it off your chest so you don't have to hold it inside of you and make it fester inside of you, you know, make you feel bad and be angry inside and have to force smiles, you know, just get it out and then you're good. And solitude, honor solitude. It's good to be alone and not have to be around people all the time. Okay. So, fear to love, love denies nothing. Fear to love. So I guess we've been afraid to love, but love denies nothing. So you should love everything, I guess, or love denies nothing. Love denies nothing. Everything is loved. Everybody is loved. Even the bad spirits are loved. Two forces, male and female. Okay. Many falls. Three forces. Third caused by interaction of the Trinity. So there were many falls. There were many, you know, angelic falls, setbacks in our evolution. Oh my God, I'm going to have a part 3. Oh my.